Hey everyone, Coach Damien here, and I wanted to talk to you about controlled articular rotations, or CARs as they're often called. So the first thing we're going to say is there's a whole spectrum here of intensities that we can use CARs with. Similar to like a squat or any other strength exercise, depending on the load that you're choosing is going to dictate the goal that we're working towards. So for instance, if I want to work on strength, I want to be doing percentages above 85 to about 100. If I'm working for rehab, we might be working less than 40 or 30%. So making sure that we're choosing the appropriate intensity and having that intention in mind when we choose our exercise and when we perform them so that we have the best outcome. Okay, so it's important to know that with CARs, we're trying to disassociate or separate or move one part of the body without influencing the rest of the body. Okay, we want what we call interdependence. Okay, and we're going to see that. So for instance, let's start with our toe CARs. So with toe CARs, I'm going to sit on my bum and I'm going to actually put my hands on my shins. Putting my hands on my shins allows me to create a little bit of tension by pulling on them. Okay, I can get my core involved here. So the goal for the first toe CAR, we're going to just lift the big toe up without affecting the little toes. Okay, so let's just take a look at some landmarks here. So I have 3 landmarks I want to look at. My heel, my first metatarsal head, that's where the big toe meets the foot, and my 5th metatarsal head where my little toe meets the foot. All 3 of those anchor points need to stay on the ground through the entire exercise. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a nice deep breath in. We want to create some tension. I'm going to pull my ribs down and slowly let out air as if I'm blowing out birthday candles. So I take a deep breath in, pull my ribs down, slow exhale as I lift. Notice how I don't fall out as I lift that toe. I'm really trying to push my little toes down as I lift that big toe. And we're going to relax. So we're going to hold that for the prescribed amount of time. Next, we're going to look at the little toes. So we're going to drive our big toe down, lifting our little toes up. Deep breath in. Drive that big toe down and lift. Up, 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 up. And hold. Again, making sure I don't dump in towards the middle. Now sometimes here what I like to do is I like to actually put my hands closer to the inside of the knees. That way I push my knees in as I'm pulling them back to that center position here. So I'm pushing with my knees and pulling with my hands, creating a little bit of tension in my groin or adductor group. Next, we're going to lift all of our toes up. And in this position, deep breath in, pull the ribs down, and now just the big toe is going to go down. Okay, I'm leaving the big toes up. Now let's see the alternative. I'm going to keep the big toe up as I bring the little toes down and relax. Now our last one here for the toe CARs, we're going to call the piano keys. So with the piano keys, we're trying to lift our fingers or our toes up, spread them as far as we can, and slowly going from our 5th digit, going all the way in towards the big toe one at a time. So let's see what that looks like. Deep breath in. Pull the ribs down, all the toes up, separate, 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 create some separation. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's see that one more time. Pull them up, separate, separate, separate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that should be our most challenging one. Moving on, we have our ankle CARs. So with our ankle CARs here, let's look at some important landmarks. So I'm going to pull my heel towards my bum and hook my elbow underneath my knee. If this is an uncomfortable position, what we can do is we can just hold it like so, okay? But I like going underneath like this. Next, I'm going to locate that nice ridge on the front of my shin, or I can find that little nub, the tibial tuberosity. I'm going to put my hand here as biofeedback. So if I feel something moving under my hand, I know that I'm not getting that interdependence that we spoke about earlier, because I want to just move my ankle, not my tibia. So we're going to pull our toes up, and like I'm going around a clock, I'm going to go around the clock nice and slow without moving my tibia here or my shin. Okay, here I want to make sure that I'm exploring as big of a circle as possible. We're doing circles here. And if there's anything that's like painful or discomforting, I want to make sure that I avoid that range of motion. Okay, and we're going to try to maybe look for other avenues on how to fix that. Let's go in the opposite direction. So we want to make sure we're going both clockwise and counterclockwise. And again, we're just trying to make that circle nice and big with the speed being nice and consistent. I don't want to just drop through a range of motion because that lets me know that I don't have full control over that. So that's our ankle car. Next, we're going to go tibia CARs. So with tibia CARs, I do now want this shin to move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock my ankle by bringing my toes up. And here, I know a lot of people like to do it free like this. I prefer putting my heel on the ground, so now I can create some tension here. I can pull my heel towards me, okay, feeling my hamstrings more. Keeping this position here, toes up. We're going to rotate the tibia out. Notice how it moved out with the foot, and then we're going to bring it back in. Now, moving it into internal rotation is going to be much more hard, and it's going to be less of a range of motion, okay? So don't be discouraged if you feel like the foot is traveling further outwards than in. This is our tibia CAR. Next, we're going to go into our knee CAR. So I'm going to pick my foot back up off the turf. I'm going to now go out, extend the knee, keeping that toe out, bring the toes in, bring that tibia with it, slowly down, and complete the motion. Now let's turn the other way. So now I'm going to bring it in, up, 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 try to get that knee as straight as possible, rotate out, 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 and then back down. And that was our knee CAR. Now Patella CARs, all right, same kind of idea here. I'm going to get a soft knee. If you need a yoga block or a foam roller, we can put that under here as support, just so we create a little bit of relaxation in the quad. So I'm going to push the patella down and just trace my fingers around the border of the patella to let it go through its full range of motion. And I'm gauging here, are there any areas of the knee CAR or the patella CAR that are maybe more restrictive, harder to push? And those might be things to address in future training sessions. Next, we have our 90-90 hip CAR. So there's a lot of different positions we can get in, but we're going to look at the 90-90 first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into my 90-90 position. So I think of this as a shin box. I have a 90-degree angle at this front knee, back knee, and I think train tracks now. Do I have parallel front shin to back thigh? And do I have parallel front thigh to back shin? Okay, that's what I call train tracks here. Okay, I have two sets of train tracks all intersecting. Next, I'm going to plant my hands so I'm nice and tall. So this is actually a pretty difficult position. So if you find this is hard, we're going to just squeeze ourselves out a little bit to the side here, creating a little bit of space. Make sure that elbow stays straight. Make sure that this knee stays tight to the ground. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath in. Exhale, pull that rib down, trap that air, lift the heel. Next comes the knee. Bring the knee up as high as you can, swinging the heel underneath, and then bringing the heels together, opening up that knee. Next, we're going to bring the knee back, lift the knee up as high as we can, swing that heel back as I reach behind me with that foot, knee first, and then the heel. And that's our 90-90 CAR. Next, we have our segmented cat-cow. That's going to be our CARs for our spine. So when we're doing the cat-cow, pay attention to my lower back as I go into flexion, and pay attention to my T-spine, or the area from my shoulders to my belly button, as I go into extension, okay? Because those are going to be my trouble areas here. So starting in the bear position here, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, I'm going to tuck my tail, tuck my chin, and drive my chest up towards the ceiling. Starting at my hips, I'm going to bring my tailbone up, imagining I have a water drop that's slowly working its way down my back. So next comes the belly button down, the first rib down, chest is going down towards the floor, now my collarbones, and then eventually my eyes and my neck. Now, restarting at my hips, pay attention to that low back, tucking the tail, bringing the belly button up, 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 bringing that rib up, up, up. Next comes the breastbone, and then finally, the eyes and head. So next we're going to go into our Scapula CARs, or our shoulder blades. So if we have a yoga block, we'll use that, but if not, no problem, we'll just punch out in front. So I'm going to pretend I have my arms on a tabletop. I can't go through the tabletop, and I don't want to lift my arms off the tabletop. Pressing the yoga block forward, bringing those shoulder blades forward. I'm going to shrug up, shrug back, down, and forward. Reversing that movement, we're going to go down and back, up, forward, and down. Making sure we don't break that plane there. We want to stay in a nice flat plane. Making sure my elbows don't bend and I don't do any funny movements at my lower back or my neck. Moving along, we have our shoulder CARs. So now we're going to go into half kneeling position here, and with the downside, I'm going to grab a tennis ball. If you don't have a tennis ball, that's fine, just make a fist. So I'm going to press out here with my hand, creating some tension. Squeezing my tennis ball, I'm going to rotate my hand out as I reach across my chest, rotating. I'm trying to bring my thumb actually towards the floor. I can't go any further, so now I'm going to start riding the edge of that circle, getting up, up, up. I can't go any further, so now I'm going to rotate from the armpit, bringing the thumb forward, still rotating as I complete that circle. Making sure we avoid any painful or pinchy areas, we return to the starting position and then rotate. Coming backwards, I'm going to try to rotate out, get to that end range, can't go any further, so we're going to continue to rotate, making that circle nice and big, still rotating from the armpit, avoiding the painful pinchy areas, coming across the body, and then riding the edge of that circle all the way in. Next, we have our elbow CAR. So elbow CARs, we're going to go a straight line from our shoulders all the way down to our fingertips. I'm going to put my finger right here as a biofeedback. That way, if I start to rotate in with the upper arm, I catch it with that hand beforehand. I notice it. I'm not holding it, but I can detect any sort of rotation. So we're going to rotate the elbow in, bring it up, 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 rotate out, and down. Now reversing, we're going to go out, up, in, and down. Finishing up the arm, we're going to go into the wrist, so straight line, elbow to the wrist, elbows tight by the side. Putting my fingers together, I'm going to drop down, go in towards the middle, up, out, and back down. Reversing, we're going out, up, in, down, out, up, in, and down. Finally, we have our neck CARs, which are my favorite ones. So pay attention here because we want to make sure we avoid any pinchy areas, and we're especially going to lead with the eyes here because the eyes help control some of the deep muscles within the neck. So I'm going to put my arms behind my back and press down to the floor, keeping my shoulder blades down. We're going to go eyes down first. Tuck the chin. I don't want to just drop. Tuck. We're going to glide out to the left, trying to glide along that collarbone, keeping our mouth closed. So here I can feel some tightness here. That's normal. Embrace that. Can't go any further, so now we're going to dump that ear back, leading with the eyes, making sure we don't get into pinchy areas. We get to corner 2. Can't go any further, so we're going to go through the arch. Eyes first. I get stuck on this side. I can't go any further, so now we're going to dump the chin forward. And then glide back to the starting position. Let's reverse. And those are our basic controlled articular rotations. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Stay up to date with what's happening in the gym and learn more on how you can crush your fitness goals by going to DMPFIT.com. There you'll have access to the latest articles, videos, and links to my social media pages. If you're interested in joining the DMPFIT community, be sure to like and hit the subscribe button. We'd love your support.